The Old Guy Radio Players presents... It's the George and Pudgy Show. Starring Milt Stiltskin as George Coinbridge. Co-starring Bill Dookie as Pudgy Coinbridge. Also starring Schmitzy Poldunka as Maggie Coinbridge. And Margaret Meadow Muffin as Mildred Coinbridge. Along with Peter Peters as Felvin Snoots. Percy Tinkles as Edward K. Murrow. And the man of 101 voices, Falk Marley. The World Trip, Episode 2. Are we gonna make it to London? Or is that the Eiffel Tower?
This is the Gumchewy Radio Network. This episode of the George and Pudgy Show is brought to you by Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service. No one likes to talk about sewer problems, but even fewer people like to deal with a sewer backup. That's where Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service comes to the rescue. Our trained professional crew will show up on time, smartly dressed in suits and fully prepared to fix and clean your worst sewer problems. So remember, the next time you have a sewer problem, you can trust the man in the sewer sucker suit. That's Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service. And by the makers of Mrs. Marshall's magnificent wonderwear. It puts the wonder in your unders. It never tears, it self-cleans. Mrs. Marshall's Wonderwear.
Last week, we left George and the gang waiting in the limousine for Mr. Morrow.
I wonder what it's going to be like. You know, traveling with Mr. Morrow. None of us really know him.
What are you worried about, Mags? Mr. Murrow's a stand-up guy. I'm sure he's a real swell fella.
I bet Mr. Morrow is just as nervous and excited as we are. George is right. Mr. Morrow wouldn't be as famous as he is without being a real Boy Scout. You know what I mean?
Hey, clam up, everybody. Here they come.
Hello, Coinbridges. It's a rare pleasure to see you again. This is Taffy. He'll be the sound man for our little adventure.
Johnson. It's not difficult. It's a perfectly good name that I carry with pride. I didn't have to do this. I could have stayed in medical school like Mom wanted.
Are you okay there, Taffy?
Just nifty, Mr. Coinbridge.
George, please call me George.
On to the airport, Cavendish. We have a broadcast to do before we leave on this epic journey. The world awaits.
Hey, what's with this knucklehead on the right in the Nash?
Yo, that's Limburger. Hey, I thought I asked you to meet us at the airport.
The missus is squeezing out a kid. Here, catch.
Oh, Judas Priest, what's with the brick? You nearly murderized me.
You're lucky you gotta get to the hospital. Maybe next time I'll tie it to a bullet.
What kind of jamoke ties a message to a brick?
My moron neighbor, that's who.
Well, it's a good thing that Limburger showed up when he did. The turn off to the airport is right in front of us.
There it is, George, up the road on the left. I'm so excited, Maggie. Oh, me too, Mildred.
This is going to be the best spot in the airport for you to make your promulgation.
That was a perspicaciously good use of vocabulary, Taffy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, folks, please stand here close to the microphone. We have everything all set and ready for the first of many interviews while we're on our trip. We'll be broadcasting to the whole nation and at times the whole world. Just relax and let's go on a trip.
This is so exciting. I just can't believe this is really happening. We're going on a trip around the world. I never could have believed in a million years that this would happen. Somebody pinch me to make sure I'm not just dreaming.
I'd pinch you, Max, but I don't want to start the trip with a black eye.
Go ahead, George. Give Maggie a pinch. You're not chicken, are you?
Chicken? Oh, You know what's gonna happen now, don't you? I'm gonna make you eat those words, Pudgy.
I wouldn't do it if I was you, George.
Ouch, George!
Did you have to hit me so hard?
That was rich, George. Boy, she cracked you a good one. Hey, what did you do that for, Mildred?
Because you deserved it, causing trouble for no reason. Now, you don't say another word, or I'll give you another one.
Yes, ma'am. You didn't have to hit me so hard, you know. I was just having fun with George.
And look what it got you. You best learn how to have fun another way, Pudgy, or this is going to be a long trip for you. A long, miserable trip.
Yes, dear. Whatever you say, dear.
I hope you're satisfied, Pudgy.
That's quite enough. Now, you folks listen to me and listen well. There has been a considerable amount of time and money spent on this little picnic. I will not have it ruined by childish behavior like what I've just witnessed. You folks have been given a chance of a lifetime, and you're acting like spoiled brats. I, for one, will not put up with this nonsense. I can just as easily disqualify you all and end this trip before it starts.
See what you started, Pudgy? I'm sorry, Mr. Murrow. My brother's brain is like an undercooked meatloaf. It won't happen again.
No, I'm sorry too, Mr. Morrow. I'm the one that started this whole thing. I wish I wouldn't have said pinch me. And I'm really sorry for overreacting. I shouldn't have given George the what for he had coming to him.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Murrow, sir. I'm sorry I called George a chicken. Even though he is one, I shouldn't have said it out loud. That crack across the chops Mildred gave me was heard around the world. I learned my lesson. From now on, I'm keeping my yap shut.
I'm sorry too, Mr. Morrow. Pudgy is always causing trouble for no reason. I could see by the look in Pudgy's eyes what he was thinking, and I was just getting ready to stop him from calling George a chicken. But I was too late. He already did, and then he pinched Maggie. Maggie gave it to George, but good, so I give it to Pudgy for causing Maggie to give it to George. So it wasn't really my fault.
We're still here from LaGuardia Airport waiting to hear from Edward K. Morrow and the winners of the Gum Chewy Scavenger Hunt. Here to kick off the trip around the world is our host, Mr. Morrow himself.
Good morning to everyone in our listening audience. This is Edward K. Murrow coming to you live from LaGuardia Airport as we prepare to embark on the around the world trip won by the coin bridges, George, Maggie, Pudgy, and Mildred. Before we start this grand adventure, let's have a word from our contestants. Let's start with the person that got them into this to start with, Maggie Coinbridge. Would you like to say a few words to our audience?
Would I? You bet I'd like to say a few words, but I'll wait until I get that knucklehead to the hotel room. But of course, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, Mr. Morrow. Maybe that knucklehead would like to say a few words, George?
How about it, George? Would you like to say a few words to everyone in Radioland?
I think I'd better keep my yap shut. I'm already in enough trouble.
And you, Mildred?
Thank you, Mr. Morrow, sir. But you can call me Millie. It's a real pip to be asked to say a few words, and I truly appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
That was a very succinct speech, Mrs. Coinbridge. Pudgy, would you like to add anything?
Well, when Millie speaks, me adding is just subtracting.
Thank you all for your insightful comments. It sure sounds like everyone is excited. In just a few minutes, we will be boarding the plane bound for our first destination, London, England. Until then, this is Edward K. Murrow of the Gum Chewy Radio Network saying bon voyage.
No one likes to talk about sewer problems, but even fewer people like to deal with a sewer backup. That's where Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service comes to the rescue. Our trained professional crew will show up on time, smartly dressed in suits, and fully prepared to fix and clean up your worst sewer problems. So remember, the next time you have a sewer problem, you can trust the man in the sewer sucker suit. That's Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service.
Okay, we're here at the gate. Where's Willikers?
I'll find him.
Hey, Acme Travel Service guy, where are you?
Here I am, Belvin Snoots at your service.
Well, if you want to get paid for the rest of this trip, your name is G. Willikers. How well do you know Europe?
Never met the guy.
It's a continent.
I heard Teo Pectate will take care of that.
Never mind. What languages do you speak?
Oh, yeah, well, people say I'm pretty good with gobbledygook, too. Hey, who are the broads with those geezers?
They're your meal ticket snoots, so you'd better play nice. We're stuck with you. But if I had my way, I'd have you do a swan dive off the control tower. Now, let's go and make like you're a travel ace. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Willikers, who will serve as your tour guide for the entire trip. Here are some pamphlets featuring our destinations. I suggest you start reading them.
I wasn't told there was reading involved. I charge extra for that.
Learn fast.
Don't hold your breath, pal.
I've got the tickets. Let's get to the gate.
I'm sorry, folks, but the Pan Am flight to London has been canceled. We have made arrangements for everyone to fly on Wright Airlines Flight 86, Terminal 6, Gate 4.
What about our luggage that we already checked in?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they'll have all the baggage moved from one plane to the other.
Well, I certainly hope so. There's a lot of important equipment and other things in there that we need for this trip. Okay, folks, we're going to skedaddle to, what did he say? Terminal 5, Gate 3?
Yeah, pardon moi there, Mr. Moreau, sir. That's going to be Terminal 6, Gate 4.
If I would have known we'd have to walk halfway across the state, I would have worn different shoes. How big is this airport anyway?
Take it easy there, Twinkle Toes. We'll be there soon enough.
You better watch how you're talking to my wife there, Willikers, or you're gonna be sporting a shiner all the way to Europe.
You tell him, George. I'm not about to put up with this the whole vacation.
I don't know about you, Georgie boy, but the first thing I'm going to do when I get on that plane is kick off my stompers, have a highball or four, and light me up this dirt gherkin that's been burning a hole in my pocket.
You'd better ease up on the sauce there, baby brother. They say that booze is twice as strong up there.
Yeah, you're right, George. I better just make it 3.
Hang on a second, Bub. There's no way you're gonna light that thing up near us.
What's the big deal? Everyone else will be smoking those deuce cigarettes they hang out for free. Besides, I doubt they have a front stoop on this bird.
Maybe Pudgy's first drink should be a Mickey Fin? Listen up, you Jamoke. I didn't say a word when you decided to invest in that chinchilla farm in Goggle City. I kept mum when you hid in the coal chute from the tax collector. I held my tongue when you told me we were moving downstairs from your brother in that double-decker in Furbush. No offense, George.
None taken.
But I'm putting my foot down with you lighting that thing up on the plane. Are we clear? Because if we aren't, you better have a good orthopedic surgeon.
Whatever you say, Mildred, my love.
Look at that bucket of bolts. This thing is a boinging 247. It's practically an antique. I think they used these during the Civil War.
Don't you mean the Second World War, George?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, well, consider shutting your claptrap for a brief moment.
Hokey smokes! Is this a plane or a bus?
I should have brought tokens.
There are only single seats on either side. It looks like we'll have to sit across from each other. Mildred, sit catty-corner to me so we can gab.
That's a good idea, Maggie. Then we won't have to listen to these two schmucks snoring.
Hey, we're gonna take off now, so you better sit yourselves down.
With the noise in these rust buckets, you won't even hear our snoring.
Kathy, have you been getting this on tape?
There are no outlets on the plane, sir.
What kind of assistant are you? Why didn't you bring some? Willikers, why don't you sit across from me so we can go over the itinerary?
What's that? That sounds serious. Should I have gotten a shot for it?
Sir, the only seat left is at the back of the plane.
Then I suggest you take it, Taffy.
It's Johnson. Johnson! Oh, never mind.
Coffee, tea, mixed drinks, Muffy, tea, mixed drinks.
It looks like the stewardess is already one ahead of us. Can I buy you a coffee, Maggie?
Sure, I'll have whatever she's having. I hope it's a hot drink, because I'm freezing up here, George.
It's so loud I can hardly hear myself think.
I'm not so sure that's a bad thing, Pudgy.
Right on cue, Mildred.
If I would have known we was going to be flying in an icebox, I would have put on a jacket.
He must be storing meat in here.
Taffy, what is that rattling sound back there? Take care of it.
The door's open. I'll get...
Goodbye, Johnson.
Tell me, Willikers, what do you know about radio?
It's Snoot, sir.
Snoozer? What kind of name is that? That isn't German, is it?
It's just Snoots.
Is just short for Justin?
No, my name is Felvin Snoots.
Well, you look just like Willikers.
That's my identical twin brother.
Then how do you have different last names?
We had different mothers.
Will Mr. Murrow send a search party to find Johnson? Will George get his suit cleaned? And how does Felvin Snoots and his twin brother have different mothers? To find out, tune in next week for episode 3, Why Is Everything Backwards? Or I Can't Believe We Made It, on the next George and Pudgy Show.
This episode of the George and Pudgy Show is brought to you by Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service. No one likes to talk about sewer problems, but even fewer people like to deal with a sewer backup. That's where Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service comes to the rescue. Our trained professional crew will show up on time, smartly dressed in suits and fully prepared to fix and clean your worst sewer problems. So remember, the next time you have a sewer problem, you can trust the man in the sewer sucker suit. That's Samuel's Sewer Sucking Service. And by the makers of Mrs. Marshall's Magnificent Wonderwear. It puts the wonder in your unders. It never tears, it self-cleans. Mrs. Marshall's Wonderwear.